Welcome to On the Bench Extra, your weekly local football show. Joining me on the show today, as always, is our regular pundit Tom Reed. Coming up on the show today, we'll be looking at previous results, previewing the upcoming games. We'll also have highlights from Grimsby Town, and we'll also be hearing from North Ferriby United ahead of their big FA Trophy semi-final. Don't forget you can also contact us on social media. Hello, Mr. Reed.
Bonjour.
How's your week been?
It's all right, thank you. How's yours?
Good, very well, thank you. Very well. The first thing we're going to be talking about today is Grimsby and the new stadium. We've talked about it previously. Obviously, things are coming to fruition a little bit now, and there's a little bit of an argument going on about where it should be.
You're never going to please every single person. Wherever it goes, you're always going to have someone that isn't happy. So I think it's just a case of finding the best location, that pleases the most or displeases the least. So it's tough really because the town need it. I think Grimsby need it. But yeah, where is the right place? Is there one?
That's the difficulty, I think, and that's the argument that John Fenty and Council Leader Chris Shaw are having at the moment. There's a bit of a standoff whether it should be at King George, whether it should be at the proposed Peaks Parkway location. What's your opinion on it?
I think the Parkway for me is ideal. There's more space there. It's not, traffic. Imagine the traffic on match day around the King George Stadium area in Grimsby, or Cleethorpes rather. It's going to be very busy and hectic. So the Parkway, there's more room there, so it's going to be less congestion, less complaints, and there's more room to build extra roads and things if you like.
What about the crematorium that's next door though?
Yeah, that's the issue. Obviously, not everyone wants that near there. So there is that. That's the downside to it. But again, you stick it at King George Stadium, quite a big residential area there as well. So you're going to, get them people complaining as well.
There's always going to be people who are upset, as you say. I'm a bit unsure about King George because of the amount of land. I just don't think there seems to be enough. I was worried about Peaks Parkway, and I think King George also it has the same problems.
Maybe out of town is the best place. As you come into the town, off the motorway, maybe somewhere, access from trains as well. You think of those things.
That was proposed before. A lot of clubs do it, and I quite like the idea, but we're going to have to see. Hopefully they can sort something out and the plans can go through.
Hopefully.
Definitely. Right, let's have a look at the latest set of results then. Hull continue their recent upturn in fortunes as Nikica Jelavic and Damon Doy got the goals to see off 10-man QPR in a 2-1 win. Jelavic is now the club's highest Premier League goal scorer, and it's 2-2 for Ndoye. Scunthorpe lost 1-0 to Barnsley and dropped down to 17th after this defeat. However, the Iron are now 7 points above the relegation zone and 5 points from the playoffs. Grimsby beat bottom of the table AFC Telford by a solitary second-half goal from Nathan Arnold. They were made to wait for the victory, having been guilty of missing a host of chances. And finally, ahead of their second leg of the FA Trophy semi-final, Billy Heath made 10 changes to his North Ferriby side. Despite losing 2-0 at home to Hednesford and playing the second half a man short after Nathan Peats red, Ferriby's manager said he thought it was a good performance. Right, we'll start just reviewing the games. First of all, Hull. Big win, Tom.
Massive win. They're on a bit of a run lately, aren't they?
Not doing too bad at all.
They're doing all right. And I think Mike Phelan's introduction has made a massive difference with his experience of dealing with these situations. Obviously, he's not too familiar with relegation battles, but he knows how to deal with players and training sessions and things like that. So he's made a massive difference, and I think they've not lost a game under him at the moment, actually, in the four.
Doing well. He certainly made a difference, and if viewers listen to me, they'd have got my tip that Hull to beat QPR. I don't think I said on it, but I think I said off it, it'd be 2-1 as well.
I think it's, more importantly, a massive win because QPR are a relegation candidate as well, so to win that game is massive psychologically as well.
They're in a lot of bother. Scunthorpe losing to Barnsley, that's a big loss, that one. I think I was looking at where Scunthorpe will have gone if they'd have won the game. I think it was 9th.
Yeah.
So the 17th now, look how tight it is in that table.
I was quite disappointed with that result, because it was a game they should have and could have won easily on paper. And again, had they won that, I think, they would have been 9th, 2 points off the playoffs. As it stands, they're only 5 points off the playoffs, so, not a great deal off them, but just what if.
So playoffs still realistic?
If they don't start picking up wins now, it'll slowly, get further away. But it's still a possibility if they can go on like a 10-game run without a loss.
And Grimsby, not the most convincing win, by all means, but a win is a win, and they needed it to keep on the pressure on Bristol Rovers and Barnet and other teams around them.
Well, I think, at the end of the day, a win's a win. I don't think Hurst will be too bothered how it comes at the end of the day, as long as it's 3 points. The fans want the win, and they ground out the win. That's a sign of a good team.
The main thing is they've got to win, definitely. North Ferriby, no real surprise really that they were defeated, I suppose.
I wonder where their heads are at the moment.
Yeah, I wonder what they're focusing on.
Yeah.
It's a strange one, that, isn't it?
Oh wait, this is the FA Trophy.
Of course it is. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so 10 changes. It's bound to happen, surely.
Look, obviously the sights are clearly on Bath City this weekend. You know, that league, I think that was just a fixture they had to fulfil. They've done that, they lost it. Hednesford obviously higher up in the league anyway, so it might have been a game they was always going to lose. But again, their focus is on that semi-final.
Definitely. Thank you, Tom Reed. Right, Grimsby completed an impressive 3-1 victory over Barnet. Now here's the highlights from that game. So, this week, sack or stick again. Hopefully, it won't happen what I did last week, where I said I hoped Stephen Presley was sacked, and it happened. He'll be knocking on my door soon. We're going to be talking topically about Telford boss Steve Kittrick, bottom of the Conference Premier. We've got a few quotes from him as well, actually, which he told Radio Shropshire. He said that the players he's inherited are only good enough to play in the division below. How harsh must that feel to be a player at Telford?
Well, I'm guessing that them kind of things are often said in dressing rooms just to, you know, motivate players, like, you know, you need to improve. But to the media, I think that's pretty unprofessional, really. You keep it behind closed doors. You know, you're not good enough for this, so on. You need to improve. But yeah, what are his players feeling like now? Do
you think it's to ease the pressure off him because he's not done a particularly great job? I mean, it's clear Telford haven't got the quality, but you know, you don't say that sort of thing, like you mentioned.
Well, the manager should be the one to take the pressure. The manager takes the pressure off the players. You know, your top managers always take the wrath. You know, they keep the pressure off the players. He's obviously deflecting it to them, saying, you know, you're not good enough for this league. I don't think he should be doing that. Well,
prior to the Grimsby game, he was quoted as saying he's inherited somebody else's team and a poor work ethic.
Yeah, obviously he is the second manager this season, and they are performing badly still. So you know, is it the manager? Maybe it's the playing squad. They're obviously not good enough at the moment because they're the bottom for a reason. So, but he shouldn't be saying that. He needs to improve the work ethic. It's his job to.
They've played 42 games. They've conceded 84 goals. So even my maths can work out that's an average of 2 goals per game.
Yeah,
that's a terrible stat.
That 84 goals conceded. That is ridiculous, to be honest. The problems obviously lie in defence. He needs to look at that.
Yeah, definitely. The top scorer, Tony Gray, has actually got 14 goals in 31 appearances, which for a team bottom of the league is pretty good.
That's 1 and 2. That's a top of the league kind of striker's form. So I don't know. Obviously, the problem is defence.
Sack or stick?
Sack.
Oh, harsh.
I'm afraid he needs to go.
Very harsh, Mr. Reid. Right, our leading researcher Greg has got us at it again. So let's see the first part of this week's challenge. Can you name the Grimsby Town team that beat Braintree 3-0 in 2012? McEwen, Hatton, Thomas, Miller, Pearson, Disley, Artis, Church, Hearn, Hannah, John Lewis, beat that, Reedy?
We'll see.
Not a bad effort, was it?
It's all right.
Not bad at all. Right, before we head to the break, here's this week's half-time teaser. Who scored the winning goal the last time that Hull City beat Stoke? See you after the break. Welcome back to Extra. The answer to this week's half-time teaser was the man that everyone wanted on the back of their shirt. It was Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink, and he scored in 2009 the winner when Hull beat Stoke 2-1 at the KC Stadium. Well done if you got that one at home. Coming up on the show, we'll be previewing the rest of the games, and we'll also be hearing from North Ferriby ahead of their big FA Trophy semi-final against Bath City. But first of all, here is the second instalment of mine and Reedy's challenge. Can you name the Grimsby Town team that beat Braintree 3-0 in 2012?
Greg, what are you doing to me? Danny North, Alan Connell, McEwen, Peter Baugh, Bradley Wood, Disley, Artis,
Another win.
I tend to overthink it and don't name the obvious players.
It's terrible excuses. Right, if you were playing along at home, the answers were McEwen, Hatton, Thomas, Pearson, Pond, Disley, Thanodge, Nielsen, Marshall, Cook and Hannah. So well done if you got all of those. Right, next up we've got the views of North Ferriby ahead of their FA Trophy semi-final against Bath City.
Fantastic occasion to be in the semi-final of a trophy at the semi-final of the FA Trophy. I mean, a huge level, biggest sort of non-league cup competition you can play in, and to get to the semi-finals is just incredible. Fantastic occasion at Bath, great atmosphere, 1,700 people there. Couldn't have been better really. There's about 150 from Ferriby, which is a really good turnout. Heck of a long way to go. So a real good turnout from the supporters, greatly appreciated by the club. You've got a two-legged tie. If you come away level, come back to your place level, you've got to be absolutely delighted with that. Couldn't be better really. Great result. Happy with getting a draw over there. I mean, obviously it would have been nice to win, but you just can't. Yeah, you've got to be delighted coming back here on level terms. On our own pitch, we've got to be favourites. It'll be a tough game, but home advantage, you couldn't wish for more really. I suppose it sneaks up on you a bit. I mean, the cup's absolutely massive, but the league is very important as well, and we are still reasonably well placed in that. But I mean, the cup is massive, no doubt about it. We hope we'll get a crowd of around 1,500. I mean, any football supporters, I'd urge them to come along. It should be a great atmosphere down here and fantastic opportunity to get to Wembley. It should be, as a cracking game down there, it should be a great atmosphere and a really good game up here.
So as we've been discussing for weeks, Reedy, the chance of North Ferriby getting to Wembley, you've been really passionate about it, almost a North Ferriby fan, the way you've been talking about it.
Well, we did say it 3 or 4 weeks ago that this is a team that's doing well, and we did say, you know, they could get there, and I believe they still will.
Why do you think they will?
Just because they've performed really well in the competition up to now. Obviously, the manager's focused on it, the players are focused on it, as we saw, obviously, because of that defeat in the league. So I think this is what they're focusing on. They took a 2-0 lead in the first leg. Obviously, they let that slip due to complacency or pressure or just, you know, for whatever reason. So they're more than capable of winning the home leg.
Why do you think that they let it slip? Do you think it was down to complacency, or was it because of the pressure of the game and the thoughts maybe when they were 2-0 up, they thought, we're going to Wembley here?
I don't think it's complacency because, you know, they're taking this seriously by the looks of it, and they've performed well so far, so they've not been complacent as yet. I think it's the pressure that's getting to the players maybe, because, you know, half of these lads, you know, could be butchers or bus drivers.
Yeah.
And how many bus drivers have played at Wembley?
Not many.
So, you know, the chance of playing at Wembley must be incredible for these players. So that pressure is probably getting to them, yeah.
And going back, they've got home advantage in the second leg. How's that going to play a factor in the game, do you think?
Well, obviously the home fans behind them will be a massive influence in the game, I think. You know, obviously they took the lead away from home, so at home you would expect the same, if not better. So yeah, the home advantage should play a part and should see them through.
Are you expecting them to win?
Yes, I'm going to go 2 or 3-1 North Ferriby.
So you think they'll concede?
I think they will concede a goal. Pressure again at the back. You know, they will make errors, I suppose. Such a big game, but again, I think they've got enough up front to you know, score. They've got goal scorers.
I'll go 2-0. Let's have a look at the rest of this weekend's games then. So Hull travelled to Stoke looking to stretch their unbeaten run to 3 games. They last did this in all competitions in September last season. Scunthorpe will look to get back to winning ways against Yeovil, who they last beat in 2011. And after gaining 2 back-to-back victories, Grimsby will remain hopeful of gaining a 3rd victory on the trot at Blundell Park versus Braintree. We've already mentioned North Ferriby playing Bath City, so we'll come to Hull. Away at Stoke, a tricky place to go, isn't it, the Britannia?
Very tricky. There's a few big teams, so-called big teams, that come unstuck there. So everyone knows it's a tough place to go, but Hull have improved lately. The confidence is obviously improving all the time. You know, even Stoke slip up at home, so I'll predict a tight game. I'll probably go with a draw, maybe, because obviously they got that draw at the Etihad a few weeks ago, so they're capable of getting a draw, yeah.
Stat for this one, since the 2005-2006 season, including the game at the KC that took place this season, there have been 13 meetings, 6 have been draws. 3 of them have been drawn 1-1 at the Britannia, so you're going for a 1-1?
Yeah. I think
based on the stats?
In Twitter in midweek, I predicted a 1-1, I think. So not much between them.
Okay, moving on to Scunthorpe at home against Yeovil. One of the big factors here is the fact that Paddy Madden playing against his old club. He was the top scorer for Yeovil in 2012-13 in League One. He banged in loads of goals. So can you see him scoring more? Yeah,
I think he's got League One experience. You know, obviously not every Scunthorpe player has that. He has, so he's made a difference already this season. So I think he'll score. He has been this obviously all season.
He has scored plenty of goals this season, hasn't he? He's within the top scorers in the league.
Yeah.
The last meeting of this fixture with Scunthorpe being at home ended 4-0 Yeovil. That doesn't look too great, but Yeovil did go up that season, and this season they are struggling at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, well, obviously Scunthorpe lost to Barnsley as well in midweek, and obviously Barnsley were lower than Scunthorpe at the time. So again, it's just a random league at the moment. You know, Scunthorpe can go to top of the league and beat them, and then play bottom of the league and lose that. So it's a tough game to call.
It's probably the tightest of the 4 leagues.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, you know, 7 points off relegation, 5 points off playoffs. You know, Scunthorpe are winning this game or losing it. I don't see which way.
It's very odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you think that Matt Robbins is going to approach the Oval game?
I think after, you know, a bad result against Barnsley, I think he has no choice but to just go all guns blazing, shall we say. stay tight at the back, but then get your midfielders pushing forward and attacking, attacking football, getting in the box and scoring goals. You've got Paddy Madden, make most of it.
Has defence been a problem for Scunthorpe this season? We've talked a lot about the attack, the likes of Tom Hopper, Paddy Madden and other players. Has the defence been a bit of a problem, do you think?
I think at the start of the season, under Wilcox, they were leaking goals. They were really leaking goals. One thing under Robbins is he's changed that. He's made them much tighter, and you can see that in the results. They're not conceding as many, and obviously they started winning more games. So it is a concern, obviously, because they are almost in relegation. But again, they've got enough to win games, I think. So
you hope so?
Yeah, well, yeah. Defence has tightened up, definitely.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the situation where you're hoping to score more than the opponent.
Yeah,
you wanted to keep it tight.
You don't want to play the game of we'll score more than you'll score.
Exactly. You don't want to 5-4 every week, do you? Fans' pulses will be racing. Moving on to Grimsby at home to Braintree. The last meeting of this fixture, Grimsby won 1-0. That was against Braintree at home, September 2013. Can they do the same again? Do you think they can beat Braintree?
Who knows with this Grimsby team at the moment? You know what I mean? You go to Forest Green, you lose and you play top of the league. They've done the double over Barnet this season. Who would have thought that? I honestly thought that they would lose at Barnet last weekend. It wasn't the case, so who knows? I think there should be a win this weekend.
You're hoping so?
You'd like to see the home side win, obviously your local side win, so it's a game that can win again, but who knows with this Grimsby team. Definitely.
You said about the Barnet fixture and the fact that they've beaten Barnet twice this season. I put on Twitter earlier this week the fact that over the 2 games it came out as 6-2 the scoreline.
Well,
team that are top of the league all season.
Well, Grimsby haven't won that by the skin of their hair, have they? You know what I mean? They've won that, quite convincingly. So, yeah, it's an odd season.
So Braintree are a team that are sort of, towards the bottom of the table.
They're struggling.
They are struggling, and we've seen, especially earlier on in the season, these were the sort of games that Town struggled in.
I don't think Braintree fancy coming to Blundell Park, so they'll be a bit nervous about that fixture. So I think Grimsby needs to take advantage of that and get stuck in early, get an early goal.
What are you going for a scoreline in this game, Reedy?
2-1 Grimsby. 2-1
Grimsby. Who'll score for Grimsby?
Disley, scoring a couple at the minute. He's on form. That's got to be, I think, Jolly
to get another goal.
Jolly and Disley again, yeah.
And you said about the result for the whole game. What about Scunthorpe, quickly?
Madden, brace.
2-0?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tom Reid. Time has beaten us once again this week. Don't forget you can join us 10 a.m. every week on Estuary TV. Thank you very much for my co-guest, Tom Reid, who you can see every week along with me. Don't forget you can also get in touch via social media and email. The details are on your screen now. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.